What is up, guys? Welcome back to another video. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. We're gonna get a late start today. It's about 11 p.m. but we're gonna try to rip out this motor tonight, and we're gonna try to get this new engine in. So if you guys just saw that little tiny montage at the beginning of today's video, there it is. It is a fresh motor from a 2004 G35 automatic. You can see that it still has the torque converter and the automatic transmission lines with a little bit of automatic transmission fluid right there. So what we're gonna do is put this thing inside the G35 this weekend. Hopefully we got it running by Monday. Everything is looking really good on this motor so far. We actually got to see it running before we pulled it. So in a couple minutes this garage door is gonna go up and we're gonna get the G inside the garage. If nobody can help me come push it, because it's a little hard with the driveway kind of being a little steep to do it by myself, then I'm gonna get the trusty Subaru and we're gonna push it in that way. The battery is dead in the G and it wasn't starting even with a jump, so hopefully we can get it in here without too much of a hassle. But before that, while the garage door is still closed and it's a little bit warm in here, we're gonna try to get away with taking everything off that is automatic related to this engine. From what I remember, if you guys remember on the Purple Z, I did an engine swap on that car and I actually used an automatic engine and it kind of did the similar thing, but this one has this huge donut on the back and I don't really know how to take it off, so I'm gonna message my friend Kevin, who has done an automatic swap, and hopefully he knows how to take this off. I really don't see any bolts anywhere, but I'm sure there's a little trick to get that thing off. Also, I got the automatic transmission lines. You can see it goes all the way through here to the front where it would go and plug into the bottom of the radiator, but since I do not have automatic transmission in the G, I can take these out. For those, it's just a couple of 10mm bolts, I believe, and a couple of brackets, and I can take that thing off and it'll be awesome. But for this huge torque converter, yeah, that's gonna be a lot of weight, and I'm sure it's gonna have a lot of juice in there, and I honestly don't know where to dispose of that. But I also have to take off the flywheel. My impact is dead, and I might have to find my impact charger because I can't find it anywhere. Managed to get the Z inside the garage by myself with a Subi, and I found out how to get the torque converter off. Shout out Kevin. He told me that on the bottom down here on the engine side, there's an access to these tiny little bolts that I need to take off to get this off. I tried to crowbar it and it wasn't coming off, and like I said, I still got to charge my impact to get that flywheel off. So I'm gonna hold this off for right now. I'm gonna tackle that tomorrow so I don't ruin any of the neighbors using my impact, and we're just gonna leave this right here. Thankfully it's still connected to the hoist, so when I do lift it up to get that torque converter off, it'll be easy. But for now, I'm gonna focus on getting this completely ready to pull. It shouldn't be too hard. I already got part of the intake off. I just gotta disconnect some lines, take off the harness, then I gotta drain some fluids, and I think we should be good. Hit my first roadblock, so I got all the bell housing bolts off. It's basically wanting to wiggle itself out, but I have to get the exhaust off, and the downpipe, or whatever you want to call it, bolts are completely on there forever. If you guys remember before, I blew this car up. It had a mean exhaust leak, and I found out the reason why. So the bolts were completely rounded off and gone forever. So I had to run to Walmart, and I just picked up this Sawzall, super cheap Sawzall. I'm probably gonna go through it pretty fast. This hyper tough stuff, they break pretty easily, but I got some metal blades for it, and we're just gonna cut off the exhaust manifold. You can see on my new engine it came with one, so cutting it off the old engine won't hurt anything. Next morning, I got the engine almost out. It's just holding onto the transmission. I can't pull it far enough outward to clear the transmission input shaft without hitting the fan. So what I'm gonna have to do, take out the radiator, take out the fan so I can clear it. I know I should have done that first place, but I was being a little lazy, and now that I have to do it now in a weird ass spot, I regret it. So always take stuff out that'll make it a little bit easier, because now I'm having to face it the hard way. If you guys remember last night, I could not get those bolts undone on the left side header. I'll show you on this engine. Basically right here on the driver's side was completely stuck. All three bolts were there forever. So I was trying to cut through it with these stupid Walmart hyper tough blades, and I broke through all of them. All I had left was these wood blades, and these didn't work at all. So the metal ones, I completely cooked through all of them. I didn't even get halfway through the cut. And all I did, I bought one of these good blades from Park Rose, and this thing sliced through it in literally like 5 seconds. So go with the good blade, it was amazing. Probably not an optimal time to pull out the camera, but check it out, guys. The heart is almost out. Last thing I have to do is disconnect the alternator ground, and she will be out. So I'm gonna get to doing that before it falls on the radiator and totals out the car. And check that out. So I got an IV hooked up. Now that the engine is finally out, I can show you guys exactly what I was cutting. So you can see that this was a pain in the butt, and it looks like there's an aftermarket clutch in there. That's awesome. Well, this is what I was cutting, and I don't need that because I already got one on here, the 99,000 mile one. So finally, after a couple days of struggling, I got it out. So what I'm going to do now is I'm actually going to put this back on the ground, reverse it back into the driveway so I can give this little garage a cleanup, get it ready for when I put in the new engine. I might pull off the whole exhaust because I have to weld a tiny little piece on the cat that I tried to cut through and didn't end up cutting through. So I definitely have to cut that, or I could just order some aftermarket cats, which I think would be cool, but I might as well fix those since it's not that bad of a fix. Yeah, but first I gotta clean this up because this is a mess. And here is the 180,000 mile motor that is rod knocked, and my 99,000 mile motor, which will be doing mad skids one day. So I didn't get the whole front core support off because power steering lines go through here to go to the power steering cooler, and it's actually a nightmare to get those off and on. So I gave it as much room as I could get it, and obviously it was enough because I got it out. It's fine. Definitely this clutch has a lot of life left. It is in Exetti. Exetti, I don't know, just says Exetti. So Exetti, there we go. Awesome. Feels pretty good. Clutch cover looks really good. That's funny. Check that out. Missing a flywheel bolt. Looks like I gotta order some flywheel bolts because that's no good. You can see this new engine came with new engine mounts, which is awesome because these are 99,000 miles, 180K. Oh my. Oh, look at that. That is no bueno right there. That's honestly insane. That's why it shook out of place. Oh, when I did take out the engine mount bolts, the bottom side, it was completely loose. Both sides were completely loose. I don't know if it was because it was misfiring and it was shaking the engine so bad that it loosened up the bolts, but that's pretty crazy. Alright, we just got home. We got the T55 half-inch socket. This thing worked perfect with a little bit of breaker bar action. Popped off all the flywheel bolts. They're loose, and I just have to take them off right now. And let's get this flywheel off because this engine is doo-doo. Come on, you! There we go! Oh! Finally! Oh! The old engine right here on the side. Got the new engine propped up. What I'm doing right now is getting the automatic lines out, and it was only 3 10mm bolts. And I think we can just jiggle them out. I think I can maybe go this way. We have encountered another roadblock. So we got the automatic transmission line out. We also got the torque converter. This was kind of a pain in the booty, but we managed to get it out. So we're trying to get the automatic flywheel out, and you can see I got every single bolt except one. So my 14mm was a 16 point, and you can see that it is completely rounded. This is after trying every 14mm. I have 6 points, 16 point, and also a vice grip, everything. This thing just will never come out. So it came to the point where I have my cutter, and I'm just going to cut it off. I don't think it could really damage the engine too bad. I think the worst thing possible is that the bolt will get stuck in there, but I don't see me cutting this off can damage it in any way. It might damage the automatic flywheel, but we're not going to be using that anyways. So got a brand new cutting wheel on the all-purpose cutter, and we're going to try to just completely just cut this bolt off and grind down the rest, and then pop this flywheel off. Alright, well, that was easy. We cut it off. It doesn't seem like pretty much, oh, we got her out. Awesome. So we got a bolt stuck in there, but I'm sure we can, yep, we can just unthread it with our fingers, baby. That was a lot easier than I thought. Got my beanie on because I'm cold. Got my glasses on because I don't want to die. So this engine is almost completely de-automaticized. We got the automatic flywheel off, the torque converter, the automatic transmission lines, and the last thing we need to get off is the automatic pilot bearing. I believe it is this huge metal thing. I mean, we can take a look at this one and see. Yep, it's that whole metal thing. It needs to come out. And I think I remember doing this before, and I just rented a pilot bearing puller and I actually got it out pretty good. But what we're gonna try today is the bread method. So I'm gonna go watch a video on it because honestly I have no idea how to do it, but everyone makes it seem so easy. And we're gonna get this thing out with a piece of bread. Alright, so I didn't end up watching a video, but I kinda have a good idea. So I don't have any white bread, we just have this Dave's Killer. I'm sure it'll work the same. Hopefully it does. But we got 2 slices here because we got a V6. So we're gonna just take, I don't know if we use the crust, so let's skip the crust and put in pieces of bread. A 1, a 2. After trying bread, after trying a pilot bearing puller and breaking it, returning it to AutoZone, I finally got it out. And it's done. So I didn't show you guys, but I rented a pilot bearing puller from AutoZone, and I don't think it's designed for a metal one, and it completely broke on me and I had to return it. Thankfully I didn't lose any money from breaking it, but yeah, that didn't work at all. I ended up buying a assorted bunch of drill bits. This one was the one that worked the best. If it could focus, hard speed steel. It cut through 2 spots right here and right there, and I ended up banging it with a hammer for about 30 minutes. I finally got that piece loose, and then I went with the Dremel right here, going through about 10 little blades, cutting tiny bits after the drill bit, right there and in a couple other spots, and it finally gave up and bent in on itself, and I finally got it out. Get all the bread, get all the metal, and get all the disc juice out of there, and then we're gonna start mounting up the flywheel, mounting up the clutch cover, and everything, getting this engine completely ready to be put back in the G. Bright and blue skies today, baby. We got the engine ready to go in. We got everything tied up, O2 sensors up high, got the harness out of the way, we got the transmission jacked up as much as possible. See, my one thing that I'm concerned about is trying to get the transmission in there and also the engine mounts inside those little slots at the same time. So we're gonna figure out if that's possible. If not, we're gonna have to pull the transmission and put it in there separately, but it's okay. It's just the driveline bolts and the cross member, and the transmission drops out. Won't take too long. It'll actually be easier on me if I have to do that, because then I can put the bell housing bolts on outside the car. So the camera ended up dying, but you can see the engine is completely in here. Awesome. I got all the bell housing bolts tightened besides the starter. I need to get the starter in there. I'm gonna wait till I clean out the garage a little bit so I can put the car in there and not lay on the ground. But need the starter. Harness is all plugged in. Power steering is connected. AC is connected. Radiator is connected. It still needs coolant, but this thing is really close to being started up. So I'm gonna end it here, guys. Hope you guys like this video. I've got a lot of progress done. I can't wait for this thing to be actually driving, and then I can start actually doing some mods to it. So next video, gonna be driving the car. We're gonna do the first test drive. We're gonna start it, and I actually have a surprise for you. Actually, 2 surprises. So we got my stock exhaust off right here. I'm actually trading for a cool exhaust. This guy's pulling up any minute now in his G35 sedan to trade me for a really good deal. This is straight pipe to a muffler. It's pretty quiet, but the new exhaust I'm getting is gonna be super, super loud. The second thing I got is underglow for the G. So I'm not gonna be doing this until my car's actually wrapped and lowered and everything, but we got it going, baby. If anybody has any coilovers for sale, or if you're in the Pacific Northwest and have some stock 370 Z wheels or 350 Z wheels, hit me up. That's what I'm trying to roll on for right now. But I'm gonna end it off here, guys. Peace out. Hope you guys have a good rest of your night, and you guys should be good.